What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 48 of the Let's Talk Nerdy podcast. On this episode, we are talking Assassin's Creed Shadows, Supernatural, Undisputed, and Space Marine 2.
Everything I touch turns to dust. Everything I feel is way too much. Sometimes I always think that I'm born for failure.
Turns to dust. Bum. Is it a rapper?
No. I don't think you're going to get this one.
Slipknot.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
You are now tuned in to the Let's Talk Nerdy podcast.
I love it when you talk nerdy to me.
That you actually got pretty close here.
Did
Okay.
I really? Okay, I
Yeah,
don't
okay.
have any idea.
Okay. This is from a band called The Used. Have you ever heard of The Used?
I have not heard of the used.
The Used. So my boomer self, am a big fan of The Used, and this is one of those old early 2000s emo bands that I just absolutely loved growing up. And they just put out a new title track, and I'm super excited for it. Guys, if you have not heard the new title track from The Used, it is called Meds. I think it's absolutely a banger, and it is absolutely 2006 Used coming back to life. I'm super excited for it. They will be dropping a new album on June 21st, 2024.
Interesting. Okay. I honestly like the late 90s, 2000 feels kind of coming back. Or early 2000s. I said late 2000s. Late 2000s, but no, the late 90s, early 2000s are kind of like coming back. Like the feel of music's kind of hitting that kind of feel again. The people like fashion's kind of going back to that way. It's coming back. Everything makes its rounds.
It's coming back in a big way. Everything goes full circle, and I am here for it because early 2000s was my era.
That's when Dave thrived the most.
I thrived in the early 2000s. If you knew me in the early 2000s, you'd be like, who's that dude? He's
Yeah.
probably the coolest dude ever.
Yeah, probably. Me, I was still a kid at that point.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that. Anyway, guys, so real quick, let's address the elephant in the room. And I think this is kind of a funny story. We did take a week off, and
Accidentally.
we did not plan to take the week off. In fact, we recorded an episode that was a pretty good episode. But as you guys know, I have become a little bit of a PC gamer, which is now dead. I will never play on my PC ever again because I left my controller plugged in, and for whatever reason, my PC just decides to automatically just switch things around on me. I don't know if your PC does that, but it's one thing that I really hate. And it decided that it was going to choose my controller microphone as my main microphone for recording the podcast, which we tried to save, and yeah, rip.
It was
Ripped.
unsavable. And it's funny, before we even started the episode, I was like, Dave, you don't sound like that great. Like, it sounds kind of funny. Like, but I thought it was on my end because, like, we recorded, like, our own files. And he's like, so we have the Rodecaster, and you can hear what you sound like through the microphone through the Rodecaster. And so he did that playback. He's like, oh, I sound good. I was like, okay, it must be my end. But truthfully, listening to it the whole episode of me, like, I was like, okay, something is wrong. But like Dave says it sounds good on his end, so I'm just gonna go with it. And like part of it was hard to like talk back because I'm like hearing echo, hearing everything touched and moved, but we're back. We're back with the high quality sound again. At least we think it's high quality. So
The moral to that story is Adam put his faith in me. He trusted me that everything was going to be okay because I said so, and that the lie detector test proved that was a lie. So
very much so. But that's okay, Dave. Have you been playing games this week? What have you been doing? What have you been watching, reading? What nerdy things have you been up to?
actually, not a lot of nerdy stuff this week. I'm not gonna lie. I got into a little bit of DBD. I just had some friends that were kind of jumping back on the DBD train, so I did a little bit of DBD. Still a great game. Nothing's changed. It's good. It's fine. But other than that, not too much. What have you been up to though? Because I feel like you, on the other hand, have been playing a lot.
What have I been doing? I've been doing a lot recently. I've been watching a lot of movies. I've kind of declared this as we kind of talked about this in our Deja Vu episode 48, but I just want to put it out there so everybody knows. I've kind of declared this as my summer of movies. So in the last like week and a half, almost pushing 2 weeks now, I've watched 23 movies and I am really enjoying it. So my goal is to watch at least one movie a day. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Origins, put a lot of hours into that. Dave and I also played X Defiant together. So, Dave, let's hear your initial impressions as a first-person shooter multiplayer game. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you never going back?
Is this the debate?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I left that one off the table just because you know what? Like, it was fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I was awful. I'm not gonna lie, I was awful. I wish I had something to say about it, but as a non like multiplayer FPS player, it was exactly what I thought it was like gonna be.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything bad. It just like was what I feel like all of them are.
It's not a Call of Duty killer? Question mark.
I feel like if you just told me we were playing Call of Duty, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. But my initial impressions, like, I was going to do a review on it, and then I was like, meh, I don't want to. I didn't think there was enough substance to really do a full review aside from the fact that it's a free to play first person shooter, arena shooter. Like, just give it a shot if you want to. At the end of the day, if you like it, play it. If you don't, it's free. You can just not play it. But, for all those arguing, saying that it's a Call of Duty killer, Call of Duty is a multi-billion-dollar company. It's not going to happen, and the fan base is too big. But if you're looking for something else other than Call of Duty, play it. It's fun. I haven't played it since last week now because I just got bored, and it felt like Call of Duty, like Dave said, and I probably won't be playing it for a while. But yeah, it's free to play. If you want to give it a shot, do it. And if you don't like it, don't play it.
I will say, and I'm going to throw this out there, that I think there's some bugs that need to be fixed in the game because I was shooting people in the face like 9 times and they were not dying. And then I would get shot like in my kneecap once and I would be dead. And I stand by that's not a skill issue. That's an issue with the game. So y'all better fix that because I'm elite.
You're elite. Dave's elite. But no, there's some balancing things that could be improved. But overall, like, the game plays fine. Like, it's a free to play game that plays fine. It plays just as it should as a free to play arena shooter. And like I said, if you want something other than Call of Duty that's free, play that. You'll have fun.
Does Call of Duty have that one mode that we were playing where we were like trying to get the thing to go down the track?
It does not have the payload or like the escort mode, which that's something different. But
yeah, I thought that was fun.
Yeah,
I
that
had
one
fun
was
doing
good.
that.
I do like that mode. Overwatch has that one, but again,
Does
that's a little bit different than like X Defiant, obviously. But other than that, yeah, if you want to play it, give it a shot. That's my review. I don't have much else to say about it. I was trying to come up with things to say that would help people decide to play it or not, but at the end of the day, it's free to play. Give it a shot. So.
I mean, that escort mission thing was the only thing where I felt was kind of useful, and it's because I just equipped like the heavy armor shield, and it gave me like 19 shots before I would actually die, and I would just equip that shield and just hide behind the thing and move it like 4%. And I'm like, I'm actually doing something.
Yeah, it was funny. One of the objectives, like at the end of each match, you get a little calling card of like what you did that match. My favorite that Dave got was ran around. That is the funniest calling card that you could ever get in a game. Although I was playing with one of the friends of the podcast, Arena, she was playing, and all it said for her was present. Like she was in the game.
I mean, come on, guys. At some point, you're just trolling me here. Like it's probably just better to not give me a card that round. You know,
right? I think it has to. It gives everybody something, and they just like, all right, what do we do for the people that just absolutely are terrible at the game? But other than that, I had fun the time I played it. Now I'm moving on to other things. So,
if you're trying to get at my running around card, get at me because I'm the king.
I'm the king at running around. All right, but with that said, I know I just said that I've been watching tons of movies, Dave, and I watched all of the John Wick movies and all of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies.
Okay.
And my ultimate question for you, and I think this has been answered a lot. James Bond versus John Wick. Who's winning that fight?
John Wick, no question.
Why no question? Explain
No
it to me.
question.
This
No
is going to turn into a
question.
debate because I
No
think
question.
James Bond is going to win.
No question.
Why?
We're talking about hand-to-hand combat, right?
Sure.
There's no denying that John Wick has the superior skill set.
I don't think so.
James Bond is more crafty. He uses his brain more, right?
Yeah.
John Wick, like if it comes down to a street fight, John Wick is going to murder James Bond.
I don't think so. I think James Bond is faster than John Wick. I've watched all these
Get
John Wick
outta
movies.
here, dude.
No, John Wick is very like fast and but a lot of times the way he moves is slow and he's always getting punched, stabbed, or something. Whereas James Bond, I don't think gets hit as often as like John Wick does.
Okay, I'm glad that you brought that up because this is the perfect argument for this. John Wick is slow because he's methodical and precise. It's like it's like Sherlock Holmes, right? You know the scenes in Sherlock Holmes where he kind of sees the fight play out in his head before it actually happens. I feel like that's the John Wick situation.
I don't know because John Wick's always getting like stabbed or punched or shot or something.
Yeah, but the thing with that is, like, in a real fight, you're gonna get hit. Like, James Bond is scripted to not get hit because it kind of loses that cool factor. James Bond really cares about the cool factor. John Wick doesn't care about the cool factor. It's down and dirty and more realistic.
Okay, more realistic. The dude gets stabbed in the top of the trap into the lung. Like you can't have a realistic fight. You can't have that argument.
Have you ever been in a fight?
Have you ever been stabbed in the lung?
I've never been stabbed in the lung, but have you ever been in a fight?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been in a fight you didn't get hit in?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've been in two.
Was it just a one-punch knockout?
Well, I did break the kid's nose. Oh man, we're turning this into the comment. I did break the kid's nose at one punch, and then the other one, I punched him in the face and I took my coat back. That's kind of how that went. Yeah, I've never been. Like back and forth. No, I've never been in those fights.
Wow, you've never been punched in the face?
No, because I'm so James Bond. I'll make it look cool.
I'm thoroughly impressed. You've never taken a punch to the face?
Never.
Your next movie is.
I take that back. If you count when I played water polo, I got smoked in the face. Like anything is legal in water polo. Like
You straight up got punched in the face playing water polo?
Yeah. It doesn't.
That seems awfully aggressive for water polo.
It's super. Well, water polo is aggressive. Anything under the water is fair game. Like punch, kick, scratch, pull your like swimsuit. Out of the water, you can get away with a lot of things. Like you're trying to swim by somebody, you just hold your fist and whack. Yeah.
Water polo is way more aggressive than I thought it was.
It is wrestling in the water with a ball like soccer. But anyway, I'm picking James Bond because I think he's got faster reflexes and I think he's more, like you said, he's more like intuitive, like uses his brain more. And now this might be cheating. Like James Bond has more resources, like the gadgets and things, but if he can't use those, I would agree. It's going to be a hard fought battle. I don't think it's going to be easy murder for John Wick.
I think it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, between each other, they're going to spill blood of each other.
I think it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. I just don't see James Bond keeping up with that action. I just don't.
I don't know. I really think John Wick gets beat up more and closer to death than James Bond has ever been.
It's too aggressive. Like name a James Bond villain that is that aggressive as John Wick is. They're just not. They're always just kind of like, meh, I'm evil. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if we've can you even think of a James Bond movie where he's really even been in like any type of struggle?
That's true, I guess.
I can't even think of a movie.
He almost died. He got...
Yeah, but like an actual like John Wick style fight where he actually needs to fight for longer than just like I'm James Bond and I just figured this out in 0.7 seconds. Like,
all right.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I'm still leaning more towards James Bond because of his resourcefulness, his quick reflexes.
I feel like I swayed you.
No, you didn't.
I feel like I swayed you.
James Bond for the win.
You are Team John Wick at heart. I know you are.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been trying to defend it, but it sounds like I'm going to lose this battle. There's a lot of people saying John Wick. However, I watched a video on this too. It's called Death Battles. They make tons of these videos. They're on YouTube if you want to check them out. But they like put up like John Wick versus James Bond, and they do an animation of the fight. It's really cool. They've done like a bunch of other ones, but
Celebrity Deathmatch?
kind of like fictional
Ooh.
character deathmatch kind of stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's called what did I say? Death Battle. It's on YouTube. They actually had James Bond winning, but
Against John Wick?
yeah, and I think it's only because like James Bond kind of cheated and uses his car to kind of help.
See, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, there you go.
But I did a bunch. I asked a bunch of people. I even asked AI who's win this fight, and AI said John Wick would have the upper hand. So
I mean, unless it's a situation where like John Wick gets knocked out and then James Bond is just like over top of him, like cutting a
Yeah.
hole in his chest with like
Yeah.
his laser watch. I just don't see it happening.
yeah, I don't know, but yeah, check out that video. It's funny. It shows how James Bond would kill John Wick. I think resourcefulness wise, I'm gonna lean more towards James Bond in that situation. Okay, and if it was like a mission where like James Bond was hunting down John Wick and John Wick like really wasn't aware, I'm gonna pick James Bond. You know how like James Bond like he goes and tracks somebody down and kills them. I think that
Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna pick James Bond if he's cheating and gets the jump on John Wick when he's not
Well,
paying attention?
I mean like yeah, I guess that's cheating. All right, never mind. John Wick wins, I guess. I thought I had an argument with James Bond, but it sounds like I don't, unfortunately. Let
Guys,
us know in the comments
yeah,
who
let us
you would
know.
have winning John Wick versus James Bond. And I think we should like try to do a couple more of these. That'd be kind of fun, right?
No, these are great. No, I love
Yeah,
this. I
yeah.
was super excited for this. I was nervous and then I was excited and then I was nervous and then I got excited again. It was kind of like going on a date.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's a blind date. All right, moving on to our first game of the night, which we've already talked about, but you guys don't know that because we didn't. Yeah, deja vu for us. Assassin's Creed Shadows, Ubisoft's next installment of what?
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, Shadows. Yeah,
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadow.
yeah, coming out.
Ubisoft's next installment of Assassin's Creed.
Oh, you're just repeating what I said.
This is the show, guy.
Yeah.
Adam just says stuff and then I just repeat it and go, yeah. Yeah.
November 11th or November 15th, 2024.
I just wanted to throw out here. I think it's kind of funny that not only have we practiced this and already done this little segment of the show last week, but we are again doing it this week, of course, because it's a game that we wanted to talk about. And we've now had 2 weeks to figure out how to say these characters' names, and we still don't know how to do it.
Yeah, we're struggling with that. So, like we said, this is Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's taking place in Japan. Shall we pull up the trailer, Dave?
Let's pull up the trailer. And guys, just real quick, again, we are going to, a little disclaimer here. We are saying the names of these characters to the best of our ability. We've watched a lot of videos. We've read a lot of articles, and there are just based on where you are in the world and which type of accent that you have. I've just heard these characters' names said so many different ways, and I just cannot get confirmation from Ubisoft on how to actually say them. So if you guys, first and foremost, if we are saying them wrong and you know how to correctly say them, we are sorry. And if you guys want to let us know down in the comments if we are saying them wrong, how to correctly say them, that would be very much appreciated because I cannot find it anywhere.
Or if we're saying it right, let us know that. Either way. But
Yeah.
here's the trailer. Let's pull it up.
Let's pull up the trailer, and I'm going to be honest here, guys. I have not been excited for Assassin's Creed games in a very long time. Until now.
Today.
Until today. And if you guys are just listening, what we're looking at right now is the best setting in video games. We are looking at late 16th century feudal Japan. And this is the absolute perfect place for Assassin's Creed to go for me to kind of pull me back. But the thing that I really noticed about the game right off the bat, it just, I don't want to say it feels like it's gonna play different, but it just feels like a Yeah, I know it's a totally different location, but it just feels like a different vibe in general. Like, are you
Yeah.
getting that?
Yeah, I would imagine. I would agree. It just feels like it's gonna have an element of really being the shinobi, which is the character we're seeing right now, like the more assassin play, or play as the samurai, like the brute force. So you're gonna have a way to play it both ways, and like this, I think the trailer does a good job showing that. It's just a cinematic trailer, but I really think it shows that kind of contrast between the two characters very well.
Yeah, and if you guys are just listening, they gave you that nice little split screen right there where it kind of showed the first interaction between those two characters. And the character on the left was the female character. I'm so sorry if I'm saying this wrong. I have this as Naui, and the character on the right as Yasuke. And I think it's really interesting that they're combining these two into one style of gameplay because very much so Naui is going to be the kind of traditional Assassin's Creed character, whereas Yasuke is going to be like a very new type of element, a different type to like a different way to play Assassin's Creed games that I'm not really sure we've ever gotten before.
I would say the closest thing that we're getting to, or like that it is of other Assassin's Creed games, is Valhalla. Like
Yeah.
Valhalla had less of the stealth and more just go at the enemies, where this is getting the best of both of those worlds in a way.
Yeah, and I think one of the really cool things is that you know Assassin's Creed's kind of lost its way. In the beginning, they were really kind of focused on historical accuracy and using historical figures and stuff like that. And I feel like they kind of moved off of that path a little bit, but they feel like they're coming back to it now because these characters that we're seeing in this trailer right now are inspired by actual like real life historical figures. Now, right now we're seeing this clip of Naui jumping across the bridge. Now, Naui is a fictional character, but the way that she's being presented, she is the daughter of a real life historical figure, which is Shinobi Fuji Bayashi Nagato. So she's connected to a real character, and Yasuke is actually a real historical figure, which I did not know. And I think it's really cool. He was a real person who arrived in Japan in 1579. So you're actually playing as a historical figure this time. And I think that's really, really cool. I'm glad that they're kind of bringing that back.
Right. And then that makes it so much more immersive, I think. And kind of, yes, it's not going to be completely accurate. And it doesn't need to be, because obviously we weren't there and things are going to be like told different ways as like history goes on. But
yeah,
I'm excited about this one.
And it's like they're not gonna. So what I've kind of looked up is that Yasuke is like he arrived in 1579, but there's not like a lot about him. People don't know a lot of his story. They just know that he existed. So it's not like they have to follow any type of storyline or anything like that. So I think using a historical figure just to be like, listen, we're going back to the kind of like, we want to bring in real life people into the game is awesome. And then choosing a character where they don't have to be tied down by historical events that people know about is just a solid choice.
Definitely agree. And I like the two character choices, like and the, like we already said, like the difference between the two. Like Naue is gonna play more as that assassin. She won't really be able to like parry the bigger enemies and things like that, and like she's gonna be more focused on the stealth. And then whereas Yasuke, he's more like up close and personal with the big like melee weapons. He'll be able to do more of the blocks and the parries, and it's so cool. And for me, like I love the assassin, like the sneaking around and stab people and things like that. That's my type of play that I like.
Yeah, and Yasuke is the type of play that I like. I mean, you guys know I love a strength build and just going in there and hitting stuff hard. And I think it's really interesting because you're gonna get people that are one way or the other, but the really interesting thing about this game is that you're allowed seamless switching, a lot like GTA and stuff like that. But they're saying that the quests require you to switch at times. I can't imagine it's like an absolute. I'm pretty sure you could go through this whole game playing as one character, but there's gonna be situations where it's like, listen, the smart move here is I don't care if you're a strength build. The smart move here is be stealth. You know what I mean? And you're going to want to switch to Naui, and you're going to want to be able to use, her assets. And it's like, I think that's a really great dynamic that's going to give you a lot of diversity in the gameplay and keep you interested throughout the entire storyline.
I don't know if it's going to be like directly like that, or is that what you read where it's like you can complete the whole game that way, or is it going to be kind of like GTA where like you do these 3 missions, but okay, now you got to switch over to Michael and then do these, and then like the story comes together.
They're saying that you can switch in between the quests based on which character you want to be. So I'm gonna I'm gonna assume that you're going to have to play certain things as both characters. Like it wouldn't make sense to have 2 characters and you just always play as Naui and just like Yasuke doesn't matter. So you're gonna have to play some stuff, but I think you're gonna have a lot of options too, where it's like these missions where you are taking part of both of them. It feels like you're gonna be able to do it whichever way you want to do it, but there's definitely a way that they kind of think that you should do it, if that makes sense.
It's cool that you'll be able to essentially play whoever you want to play as, like the majority of the game. Like you said, I don't think it's going to be so strict where like you have to play as Naue at this part of the game because Yasuke, how do you say it again?
Yasuke. Is what I've been
Yasuke,
saying.
yeah, Yasuke is like trapped or something like that. I think it's going to give you the option for most of it, like you said, and then situation wise, you'll have to switch between characters, and then between the characters, I know for sure that they have different skill trees and different abilities that you unlock the more you play each of those characters, which is that's like kind of typical for games like this. Like if you play as one character, you'll level that one up faster.
I think that split is really well done because they're also talking about how you establish relationships with people. And you can establish different relationships with the same person based on who you are. Now you can interact with a merchant or something, and it's like with Naui, you're very respectful and you're very polite, and the merchant really likes you and kind of hooks you up and stuff like that. Whereas Yasuke, maybe you went in a little heavy and you tried strong arming him, and now he doesn't like you, and you have these different dynamics based on how you interact with which character you are at that time, and I love that.
I haven't been excited for Assassin's Creed games actually ever. Like this is probably like the one that really brought me in. And so now I've been playing Origins and I'm really enjoying Origins. And they're saying that this one is going to be very similar in the size map wise to Origins. And for me, like I've been playing Origins probably like 4 or 5 hours and I still have not gotten anywhere in terms of like completing the whole map. And that's something like, are all Assassin's Creed games like where you level up and like it's, let's say you're level 13 and you're trying to, and like the next mission wants you to be level 16. Are all of them like that?
A lot of the Assassin's Creeds are like that. There was even times I do believe, and again, let me know if I'm wrong, but in the earlier games, I think that parts of the map were even locked if you weren't a certain level. So yeah, they want you to get to a certain point before you progress the storyline to a certain point, if that makes sense.
I guess that's what I don't like about these. So like, and I know like Dave, you know how I am with these games. I just want to get through the story.
Yeah.
I wish the game, like in terms of Assassin's Creed, I want the game to, once I complete a story mission, I want to be ready for the next story mission. Like at that level of the next story mission. I don't want to have to do side quests to get from level 13 to level 18. That's my next level, suggested level for the mission. And like I tried doing it at level 13 and I just got murder balled after like one hit. And it's like, okay, that's a little frustrating. Like I don't mind doing the story or side quests, but like I only have so much time to play these games at a time. And I bought 3 of them. So
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of with you on that. Now you love that nobody loves a great side quest more than me. I do basically everything that's in the game, and I do it as soon as it pops up because I don't want to miss it. But I do understand the frustration there. I think if you're looking at specifically just completing the game with gameplay, yeah, once you complete one mission, you should be ready to go to the next one. So the side quest should be optional, fully optional, not like it's optional, but you really need to do it.
yeah, you need to do a bunch of them so you can get up to the level you need to stand a chance against these enemies. And it could be Adam just get good kind of issue, but I'm not good. And I want to just keep on moving on. Just want to keep on keeping on. But some other things about the game. I think one thing that is very exciting about this one is the dynamic weather that the game is going to have. You saw a lot of that, right? Where essentially the way you play also matters and the season that you're playing in. So the way you play in winter is going to be completely different than how you play in spring or summer, and I think that's really cool.
I think it's a really interesting dynamic, and I'm excited to see it work because they're saying, like we said, that there's going to be changes in the seasons, and the seasons will affect things in the game. Primarily layouts and like hiding spots and things like that. Like obviously in the winter, there's like things are going to be more covered up. You're not going to be able to use waterways, things like that. Like in the summer, you might be able to find like some different kind of locations, different openings, and ways to get into places and stuff like that. And the one thing that I thought was really interesting is they were talking about the dynamic of the people in the story, where if and this has a lot. I don't know if this has a lot to do with the main story missions, but it definitely has a lot to do with the side missions, like the optional stuff on when you decide to do this. Because they were saying that like, okay, in the summer, if you go to an area, it's probably going to be more populated, but more spread out populated. What is that? What's a term for that? Spread out. It's gonna be more spread out populated, where people are kind of moving about and doing things like that. But when you go to the same spot in winter, it's gonna be more densely populated because all these it's cold and like people want to stay by the warmth for the winter. They're not out walking the trails in the winter. They're kind of in the castle by the fire, staying warm and stuff like that. So doing these side quests are gonna be totally different based on when you decide to do it. You know what I mean? You could have a side quest that you do in the summer where you're super stealthy and sneaking through the fields and killing a bunch of people, or it's like, oh crap, I did this in the winter, everybody's in this main hall, like now I just have to go in there and just try to murder ball 50 people that are all in one room. Like it's totally different experience.
And I think with that is it's not only just the weather where you have to do that, it's also like night and day too, and like actually hiding in shadows. Like they say that the shadows are going to play a big role in it, like just the dynamic lighting. So like you'll be easily spotted in like sunlight, obviously, but if you're hiding in a shadow, kind of similar to the like the bushes that you hide in many of the Assassin's Creed games, if you're not hiding in the shadows, you'll be easily spotted. And I think that's really cool. And they're just expanding on the one element of a game that is like essentially made the game. They're just making it more ingrained into what Assassin's Creed has become, and I think that's really cool.
And this dynamic system, I think, is something that's really exciting for not only this game, but the just the future of gaming as a whole, right? Because it's such a more immersive, realistic experience, and like we've probably all been there where it's like you're playing a game and you're kind of ducked down and you're hiding and you should not be seen, but for whatever reason, like the enemy just gets close enough to you to trigger that little hitbox that notifies them that you're there, and you're like, how did you see me? You know what I mean? And it's like that's exciting that they're finally going to be able to like figure out a way where it's not just some type of like hitbox tracking system where if they get close to you, like you're screwed, like you're actually hiding right now. And I'm excited for that and to see how other developers and other franchises use that going down the road.
The game is just offering or adding so much more to what they've already kind of built on in a good way. I don't know if there's a couple other things that maybe some people aren't as excited about, but the bird that they've had in like a lot of previous Assassin's Creed games is not going to be in this one.
Yeah, you're going to be opening up the vantage points other ways, but I mean
Yeah, it's fine. I don't think it's a make or break the game. You'll have a grappling hook as the Naue or as Naue. But one thing I don't understand or like what this means, it says the grappling hook you can use it, but you'll have consequences of using it. So I wonder if it's one of those things like if you like use it from too high up and you like smack into a wall, you're dead, like kind of situation. Like I'm curious to know what those consequences are.
so. I was reading about this, and I don't really know a good way to kind of explain it. But the theory behind the grappling hook that I've heard is that it is not perfect, and it's meant to be that way because they're going for realism here, right? So if you think of the realism of using a grappling hook, there's going to be room for error. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have spots where you miss. Like you're gonna have spots where like the rope is kind of swaying and stuff like that. So it's not gonna feel like in Arkham where you hit the grappling hook and it's just automatic.
Yeah,
Nothing bad can ever happen to you.
right.
I think they're gonna put in some room for error. So I mean, there could be some spots where you go for the grappling hook and like it unhooks itself, or like it might not throw you exactly where you're trying to go. Yeah, so I think they're trying to introduce an element of realism and an element of like fault to the grappling hook to give it a little bit more of a realistic vibe.
Or like you have to aim it, and if you miss, like you have to reel it back in while the enemies are chasing you, or something like that. Something that would be, yeah, that makes sense.
Something like that. I mean, they're trying. What I read is they're trying to give it this element of not being perfect, because in real life it would not be perfect. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, it's probably gonna frustrate some people. I'm not gonna lie. There's gonna be some people that kind of love it. There's gonna be some people that kind of love it in the beginning, but then towards the end are gonna be like, dang it, I just want this freaking grappling hook to work right." You know what I mean? But that, and again, I'm not 100% sure, but that's just kind of what I've read on it, and it sounds interesting to me. I want to see I want to see the percentage of error. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see how many times they make it mess up.
We'll find out. But other than that, I'm really excited about this one. One thing that has like brought people some frustration, but I think Ubisoft has clarified this in general. It says internet access is required to install it, but you do not need internet access to play it. So essentially, if you buy the game as a disc, you have to use it. The disc is essentially the app that installs the game, essentially. And that's just because like day one patches and things like that, but you will not need an internet access to play the game.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why we re-record the podcast, so that I don't say stupid things like what I said on the last show,
Yeah.
where I had thought that you needed online access to play this game.
Nope, you do not need online
you do
access
not.
to play the game. Anything else that you want to bring up about the game? I mean, there's different editions. It's standard, gold, ultimate. It's all the same with Ubisoft in terms of those. If you like that stuff, look at what each provides, but I don't think we need to go into all that. It's all the same with Ubisoft with that kind of stuff.
I mean, I'm super excited for the game. Run through a couple quick bullet points here, things I thought were really interesting. They said they're going to be introducing dual style fights, which I thought was really interesting. I feel like it's gonna give it's. Have you ever played Ghost of Tsushima? Okay, so Ghost of Tsushima. I hate trying to say that word. Ghost players, if you guys have played, know what I'm talking about with this dual type thing. I'm curious to know if they're going to kind of replicate that same thing. If they do, I'm a big fan of the dual fight, so I'm excited that they're including that. Recruiting allies with the spy network is back. Also, big thing that's coming back is the customizable hideout, where you can decorate, craft, train. Just like Valhalla, you know, I'm a sucker for getting my hideout space and decorating it with all the goodies that you can find throughout the land. And the very last thing is they are introducing dungeons, which, you know, I am a big fan of. Yeah.
That's right. You had mentioned that.
Yeah, so the dungeons are supposed to be. The dungeons are optional, but inside the dungeons, it's going to give you very much of like more of a Zelda-y kind of Tomb Raider kind of vibe, where you're gonna have to go through and kind of solve some puzzles and, you know, fight some baddies and stuff like that. And at the end of the dungeon, you'll get a pretty sweet prize if you complete it. Not for everybody. I know it's not for everybody. People like Adam don't really enjoy doing puzzles in games. I do like to take a break and just kind of do some puzzles and mess through a dungeon every once in a while. So I am excited that they're bringing those in, and they do promise that if you do them, you're going to get some pretty good loot.
Pretty cool. One more thing to note. This is not for last gen, PS4, Xbox One, or the Switch. So, sorry, guys.
It's
Moving
official.
on. Just kidding.
It's official. It is
Yeah.
official. The PS4 and the Xbox One are dead.
Dead.
Dead,
All right.
dead.
With that said, Assassin's Creed has some great assassins. But do they have the best assassins ever, Dave? I think it's time to flip that coin.
Wait, are we doing assassins or stealth games?
Oh, I did assassins.
They were doing stealth games.
Oh, shoot. All right, just I can do stealth games. I got good stealth games.
Let's,
Assassin's Creed is great stealth games.
What if we just did a blind ranking of each?
Okay, yeah, I'll blind rank you on the assassins, and you blind rank me on the games.
All right, yeah.
All right, go for it.
We're leaving this all in, guys. But this is how you guys
This is
are looking
raw.
at how the sausage gets made.
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Adam's blind ranking of the best stealth games of all time.
Boom.
Adam, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Number 1 on the list, we got to do it. Assassin's Creed, where are you putting it?
I mean, it kind of like set the stage for many stealth games. So I'm going to put it at 2.
Putting it at 2?
Yeah, I think that's safe. I think you may have gave me something better. Oh, this is your list, though.
I know.
True. So I'll keep it at 2. Yeah, I like it at 2.
Okay. Next up on the list. Don't do me dirty. Don't do me dirty. We got Hitman. What you got for Hitman?
Oh, Hitman. See, I never actually played Hitman, but the games are so cool. Like
I never played Hitman.
And I was actually going to ask you about that before, like after this episode, I was going to talk to you about getting into Hitman, where I should start. But
you should do it.
Hitman, since I haven't played it, I don't think it's fair of me to put it at 1, even though it's such a great series and it's really cool. I'm putting it 3 just because I haven't played it.
Putting it at 3?
A
Okay.
safe spot, yeah.
All right, I know what your number 1's going to be then.
Yeah.
Next up on the list, we have Alien Isolation.
5.
Putting it at 5?
Yeah, it's
Because it's
okay.
horror-y.
It's horror-y. It's not the best stealth game.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I think you're going to like this one. Next up
Yeah.
on the list, we got Splinter Cell.
Ooh. It's been a while since like a good one of those has come out, though.
It's been a real long time, but
I have 4 and
mean,
1 open. I'm gonna put Splinter Cell at 1. Sam Fisher's so cool.
you're going to hate that choice.
Oh no.
You are going to hate that choice.
Oh, but Sam Fisher's so cool.
It's definitely deserves to be up there. I honestly feel like I gave you a list of bangers, but Adam's
Yeah.
number 1 game, and number 4 game, which will inevitably be his number 1, is going to be Arkham.
Wow. I didn't see
Yeah.
that coming.
Yeah,
Shoot. Yeah.
yeah,
I'd probably put Arkham at number 1.
it's gotta be right.
I'd probably put Assassin's Creed at 3, Splinter Cell 2, and then just essentially shift everything down and put Arkham up 1.
I'm gonna put Arkham at 1, Hitman at 2, and then the rest will follow.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like it. All right. Good. I like those games. I was actually a little worried when I was like, I'm not gonna know all the ones that he has, but
No, you did pretty good.
Yeah, I think
Shout out Metal Gear, of course, some
Ooh,
Deus
yes.
Ex, Thief, Dishonored, and I put Dead by Daylight on the list just because.
you do have to sneak around.
Yeah, you're sneaking. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like it's a stealthy game. Unless you're the killer, then it's just run through and murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could put thinking of other stealth games that are really good. I think Dying Light, you stealth around a bit. Trying to think. Far Cry, you can kind of stealth around. You can really Far Cry is one or the other. You can really go loud, or you can be really silent the whole time with the bow and arrow.
Yeah, there's this one was tough because aside from like Thief, you can really there's a lot of stealth games that are stealth games, but you can really play it any way you want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go in guns blazing, you can.
Ooh, one I really liked is Ghost Recon Wildlands.
That was
That
a good
one's
one too.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
that game was that was a game where you could play either way, like guns blazing or like super stealth. And I always try to play as stealth as I could. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Pretty good. All right, hit
Pretty
me.
good.
What
All
you
right,
got?
Dave. Blind ranking of the best assassins ever. Are you ready?
So nervous for this.
All right. Your
This is
first-
terrifying when you don't make your own list.
It is. Your first option is Ra's al Ghul.
Ooh, you done did it, huh?
That's pretty good. Pretty good list here.
Did you hit me with all bangers?
I did because I thought we were doing a draft of the best assassins. So,
All right, on my list of all banger assassins, I'm gonna put Ra's al Ghul at a 2.
ooh, good choice. Good
Ra's
choice.
al's dope. I'm gonna leave the number 1 open.
All right. Your next option is Bullseye from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or just
Ooh.
Marvel Universe in general.
You know I got a soft spot for a villain. Oh, you dirty dog, you.
Well, Ra's al Ghul's kind of villain too.
Ra's al Ghul is kind of teetering on that line. He's usually a villain, but he always just kind of has a heart of gold at the end. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
okay.
Where it's like you can kind of see his side.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Oh, okay. 3. I'm gonna put it at
3.
3.
Bullseye
Yeah.
is a good safe spot in the middle.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Django.
You know, I love me a little Quentin Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Foxx was a beast.
Mm-hmm. This is that number 1 spot though.
See, honestly, I love me some Django and I love Jamie, but I think Kristoff stole the show on that one. I'm gonna put it at a 4.
4. Okay,
Yeah.
so all you have left is a 1 and 5, and I
I
don't
know,
think you're
it's-
gonna be very happy with how this is turning out for you.
Terrifying. This is
All
so
right.
terrifying.
Next up, we've already talked about it because I just watched all these movies. Your next option is John Wick.
Number 1. I got to do it.
I think you have to put it.
I
at
have
number
to
1.
do it. I don't know if you're gonna get. There's not many better than John Wick, and I have to hope that you gave me one of them. So it's number 1.
Yeah, Dave, I'm sorry to do this to you, but your number 5 pick is Agent 47.
Really, dude?
It is. That was my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did take one out because it's kind of. I was like, I'm taking him out. So
Who'd you take out?
Deadpool.
Clear number 1.
I know, but that's why I took him out. But other than that, it was my 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So
Okay, it's Deadpool, then it's Agent 47, then it's John Wick, and then everything else follows.
yeah, okay. Honorable mentions here. I have HK-47 from Star Wars: Knights of the Republic, Zero from Borderlands, Ezio from Assassin's Creed, and then Deathstroke.
All great picks.
All great picks.
Man, that did not work.
Yeah,
that
it did not
that
end
did not
very well
end
for
up. This did not end up how either of us planned.
No, but that's okay because we screwed up what we thought we were doing. So that's all
Yeah.
right. Moving on to our next game here, Supernatural by Hattori D Productions. Comes out July 24th. Solo developer.
Solo developer, and I am super excited for this one. And it's sad that my PC gaming days are over. Since this will only be a PC release, I might come back to play this game.
I will help you make sure everything's set up correctly next time.
Please do, because I want to play this game.
Yeah, Storm kind of set you up for failure. He's like, hey, play this. And then didn't understand the repercussions of playing said game.
Nothing.
Let me
Yeah.
pull up the trailer. It is a horror first-person shooter. And yeah, so let's go ahead and pull it up. Here it
Go ahead.
is.
Pull up the trailer if you guys are just listening. I know I sometimes do this, but I really mean it for this one. If you guys are just listening, do yourselves a favor when you get a chance and you can jump over to YouTube. Take a look at the gameplay trailer for this game, because I think, especially for a solo developer and what feels like is going to be not a very expensive game, I think what we're seeing right now is some of the most realistic gameplay footage that I've seen in a long time. Doesn't it look like you're actually there?
It definitely does. So it gives us a lot, and a lot of games are starting to do this, like body cam, super realistic or super realism games. But I think this one takes it a step further with, like you said, the dynamics of it, but also adding. So if you see in the trailer, if you're just listening, there's a bar on the right that shows your microphone. And so I think it's adding another element to make it feel more immersive and more real as you play. And I think they're doing a really good job with that.
Yeah, and that's the number one thing. So basically what you guys are doing is you are Detective Wyatt, who's investigating the disappearance of a housemaid.
Grandma, you like that, Grandma?
It's terrifying. Dude. That's terrifying. It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It does. Definitely looks like that.
Yeah, so you are Detective Wyatt. You are investigating the disappearance of a housemaid. So I feel like the story that we're getting right now is not very elaborate, and I think that more is going to develop. So I think it's purposely not giving you a lot of the story. But like Adam said, one of the major things here is the use of the microphone. And I think we've seen this before in a few games, but not many games that kind of do it the way that this is doing it. And basically what's going to happen is that your microphone is going to be on all of the time. And the louder that you get into your microphone, the more you jump scare, the more you scream, the more you get kind of like heavy breathing and stuff like that, the scarier the game is going to get. It's going to be triggered based on noise. And the one really interesting aspect of this is that with a lot of these games that have done this already, there's a workaround, right? You can just turn your mic down really low. You can, it's like, I kind of cheated the system. You cannot do that in this game because you need your microphone to communicate with the entities that you are experiencing in the game. And I think it's a very clever way for you to not be able to get around this don't make noise situation.
Right. And Phasmophobia already kind of did stuff like that. But I think with Phasmophobia, it's like Phasmophobia is scary, but not this kind of scary. You know what I mean? It's not a narrative to make, like, try to figure things out and like go through like each room And with Phasmophobia, you have a group of people, and it's more so fun scare, whereas this is going to be like intense horror as you play, I think.
And I think that's one of the major things that we need to talk about is that this is a single player story. And I don't want to throw shade at like Phasmo and stuff like that, but I just feel like you really do lose that scare factor when you're playing with other people. You know what I mean? Like you get that like you're going to get that jump scare when you're playing with other people, but you don't get that tenseness cuz there's no there's no silence. There's no creeping around in silence and just like waiting to see what's kind of happen. Like you're all talking to each other and kind of joking around and making jokes and laughing and having a good time and stuff like that. And I saw that a lot with the game that we were playing, content warning, where it's like you're loaded in with four people. Like we go down into the abyss and it's like, obviously we're getting jump scared, but it's still kind of all fun. When you go down there alone, it's just a totally different vibe. And I think being able to do this and having to do the microphone thing, and especially for like streamers and stuff like that, this game is going to be gold. Like this game is going to be amazing to play. It's going to be amazing to watch your friends play it, to be in their chats trying to scare them. I mean, God forbid they have like sound alerts set up and jump scares and stuff like that, where you can kind of add to this scary vibe and try to get them to make noise and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a huge hit for the streaming community.
I definitely agree. And I think part of it is like you said, this game's not going to be all that expensive. And what I think is really cool about this game is it does offer some replay like ability. Like a lot of these like horror games that you play, it's like, okay, I played it once, like yeah, it was a couple hours. But this game, so it's gonna be short. It's gonna be essentially 2 hour playthroughs, but there's 3 different endings. And I think that when a game's like this short, it's very consumable. And like with like games like Outlast and Madison or these really long horror games, like you kind of lose that tenseness after like your third or fourth hour. It's like, yeah, okay, I know what's coming next. Or yeah, there's gonna probably be a jump scare here. Whereas like when it's this quick of a turnaround, like you start it in 2 hours, you're scared the whole time. And I think that's gonna help a lot with like the replayability.
And a lot like what you said, I mean, you jump in and you're playing this game for like 3 to 4 hours, it gets less scary. Also, when you're playing a game like Outlast is like I don't know how long it take you to get through Outlast. It probably took me like 8, 10, 12. Like it took a lot of hours to get through Outlast. It's like you get these breaks, right? Where you're just like, okay, that's good. Save the game, turn it off, go do something else, like come back to it. This is just like from start to finish, just a very tense and terrifying experience. And you said 3 different endings, and then if you read the Steam page, they're also teasing a 4th secret ending. So you're actually going to get 4 endings out of this game, and the secret ending is probably something where you're going to need to do very specific things. So it could be you get 3 different endings and you get it takes you a couple playthroughs to figure out what the secret ending is and what you need to do. So like you said, I think there's going to be some pretty good replay value on a game that should not be very expensive.
I think one of the biggest things that you said, like there's gonna be other things you have to do. So essentially, gameplay wise, you'll have to use different cameras to locate paranormal activities. You have to solve non-repetitive puzzles and like use detective skills. So I think on top of being like tense and scary all the whole time, like you have to figure stuff out as you're playing this while trying to like, oh, what's gonna jump at me? And I think that it just adds an element to it. And like Madison and Visage did those things, but like it was almost over the top where it's like hard to understand, where like this game is just logical puzzles, which I feel like I don't know if it's like things that should be like pretty obvious or logical in the sense like, oh, like, you know what I mean?
I completely understand. And I think, I knew that you would be excited about this with the logical puzzles. I'm going to defend Madison. I think Madison, the puzzles were logical, but you just had to look at it from just such a different perspective, because the main thing was like this camera. So it's like when I was like halfway through my Madison playthrough, in the back of my head when I couldn't figure out something, I would just be like, I got to take a picture of something. You know what I mean? So you would just start taking pictures, and you know what I mean? And you would kind of figure it out from there. Visage, on the other hand, was an amazing game. But there's puzzles in there that don't make sense. And I know there's hardcore Visage fans that are, going to defend it, but to the average, just kind of, and I play a lot of horror games. I love the horror genre. I play a lot of horror games. To the average kind of horror player, Visage doesn't make sense. So I'm excited that they're saying, and I think they might even be throwing a little bit of shade on Visage, just saying like, hey, we got some puzzles in here, but don't worry, they make sense.
The thing with Visage, I'm not saying Visage is a bad game by any means, but man, like you said, there's some things I'm like, I have no idea what is going on in Visage. Like you had to take this heart to this hole to this tree, and it's like, what is going on this at this puzzle at this like order? I'm like, I have no idea.
I'm not gonna lie, I needed a walkthrough for Visage. I needed a walkthrough, and I'm not a walkthrough guy. I love struggling with I will die to a boss 300 times. Like I love struggling in the games and trying to figure it out. I got to the point with Visage where I'm just like, I am not even scared anymore. I'm just so frustrated that this is not even scary, and I just need to figure out how to get to the next part.
Right, and that's exactly how I felt with the game. But overall, I think the game is like super interesting. I think the one developer is doing a great job of like capturing the fear that he's trying to put into the player as you play the game in this puzzle. I'm curious to know how like we've already kind of talked about this, but FPS, so it's a first-person shooter. I'm wondering how much you're gonna need to use the gun. It didn't really explain it in the Steam page all that well. Essentially, like you see it in the clip where he shoots the entity a few times with his pistol and he's reloading it. But now, is it something that you get the pistol the whole time, or it's certain cutscenes or different aspects of the game that you get this pistol or this weapon? Or like, how do you find ammo? Are you unlimited ammo? It's a lot of questions I have on that side of things.
And I'm going to be honest, guys, I still have a ton of questions about this. And again, we talked about this last week, and I specifically went and searched to try to figure out the answer to this question, and I still cannot find out the answer. My kind of idea was that because it seems weird for a first-person shooter when you're dealing with like ghosts and entities. You know what I mean? Like you can't shoot a ghost. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. I know you talked about you could shoot
Supernatural.
Yeah, I know you talked about you could shoot him with a pepper gun or whatever.
Yeah, the salt gun.
The salt gun.
Yeah, and hit him with the steel pipe.
Yeah,
Supernatural,
I
the TV show, not the game.
I know. Yeah, but I mean, it could be that. It could be that. But it doesn't in the feel of the game. It doesn't make sense to me because you can't really shoot a ghost. So what my kind of reasoning was like, maybe you're kind of reliving memories of things that happened in this house, or like maybe you're uncovering parts of the story of what happened to this maid, and like I don't know, maybe you're like seeing it through somebody else's eyes, and it's like you just kind of like witnessed a murder that happened in the house, and that's why the entity is there or something like that. I wish I had a more concrete answer for you guys. I really don't, but I'm curious to see how they're gonna kind of work this all in.
So we hope to have better answers on that. So Hattori, I'm hoping I'm saying your name right, first of all. But second of all, if you happen to see this, let us know how the gunplay is going to work. If it's really gunplay or just specific instances, we'd really like to know. And like to see more gameplay. It looks fun. I'm really excited about this one.
On the off chance you see this, dude, awesome job. The game looks amazing. Already on my wish list, and you got at least one sale ready to rock.
Rock and roll. But with that said, this is a very spooky game, Dave.
I'm so nervous right now.
Spooky game.
I thought I made it through this.
You did.
I'm so nervous. I'm going to drink this coffee that I made 3 hours ago.
That's so funny. So what we're doing next is a guess the franchise, 20 words or less. Oh, yeah. Guess the franchise, 20 words or less, spooky edition.
Very spooky.
Spooky. All right. 8 franchises here, 20 words, Dave. What was I going to say? There's one other thing. This games or movies.
Games or movies.
Yep,
okay.
Games or movies.
Or TV shows.
Or TV shows, yep.
Okay.
But there's no TV show. No.
Or comic books. Just comic books.
Movies or video games is what I
Okay.
have for you.
All right,
So.
perfect. All right, perfect.
right.
Let's go.
All right, your first word is holiday.
Holiday. Holiday. Until dawn.
No.
Balls.
Your next option is trick or treat. That's 2 words.
Oh no. Wait, it's a Halloween game? Halloween?
Yeah, there you go. So 3 on that one.
Wait, trick or treat counts as 3 words?
No, 2.
Okay.
So we got, because we did holiday, trick or treat. So
Yeah.
2 words. So 3. Trick,
Oh.
trick and treat is 2
Oh
words.
no,
Yeah.
dude.
I'm not counting or as a word, but I'm counting trick and treat. So
Trick or treat is hyphenated, guys. It's a hyphen.
yeah, okay.
It's one word. All right,
All right.
fine. All right, fine. 3 words. I can do this.
Next is crops.
Crops. Oh, oh no. Oh no, I know what movie you picked.
Come on, you can do it.
Signs.
No, not signs.
Oh no.
Kids.
Children of the Corn.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
You're at 5 words.
Let's go.
Moving on. Next word is doll.
Oh, Chucky.
Yeah.
Let's
that
go,
one,
baby.
That one was too easy.
Let's go. I like the easy ones.
Yeah.
Thanks for throwing me some bones, man.
Okay. 7th word or next one is camera.
Madison.
Dang it.
Let's go. Let's go. I look way better on
yeah,
this
you do
one.
look really good.
This is great.
All right. I'm going to use 2 words here. No, I'm not. Narrative. I mean, I guess that's kind of a bad word.
That could be anything.
Yeah, I know. That's bad. Terrible word.
Silent Hill.
Nope. Next word is decisions.
Final Destination.
Nope.
Damn.
I might cheat here a little bit. Let's see.
How many words did I use?
You're at 9 total.
How many did I get right?
You're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 right. So you're cruising. You're cruising.
We're like halfway. We're like halfway on both. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna cheat here. No, I want to. I'm cheating. Previously mentioned.
Massage.
Oh no. Shoot.
Oh no.
I might have screwed us here. Shoot.
Wait, what was it previously mentioned? What were the other words?
Narrative and decisions.
Narrative decisions. Until Dawn.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's go. Let's go.
11 words.
Already mentioned like I already guessed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Okay, next up is extraterrestrial.
Alien.
Yeah. Woo!
I'm cruising, bro.
I'm
cruising.
I'm giving you easy stuff. All right, next word is 2D.
2D. 2D horror. Friday the 13th?
Nope. Dreams.
Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nope.
What? 2D dreams. Oh, I know it.
Say it.
Little Nightmare.
Yeah, there you go. 14 words.
Let's go.
Okay. Next up, crafting.
Crafting. The forest.
Boom! 15 words. Let's go.
Let's go, dude.
That was a good one.
Let's go.
I thought I really screwed us with Until Dawn, but I think that you said, since you said it in the first guess, I was like, okay, I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and that's gonna work for us. So, but yeah, 15 words, not too bad.
Let's go, dude. I look way better on that one than I did on the last one.
You sure do. So
reshooting was a great idea.
Yeah, it was a great idea. We picked new words. I will say that we did pick new words, so they're not the same ones. Actually, they're all completely different.
And then I noticed as soon as I said Final Fantasy or Final Destination, I was like, oh, he picked that one last time. That's wrong. That's clearly wrong.
Yeah, it's not in this one. Okay, moving on to our next game, which has been in early access since January 2023.
Indeed.
So, Undisputed, the boxing game to beat all boxing games. Woohoo!
Guys, I'm having a hard time. Is that... Let's read the room. Is that fake excitement? We talked about this. No excitement is better than fake excitement.
I no, it's not the game. I promise the game looks fine. The game looks fine. I just don't like boxing. And I'm not trying to hate on boxing because I understand the hype around it. So let's pull up the trailer. Undisputed what we're talking about. I know I kind of went on a tangent. Again, I'm not trying to hate on boxing. It's just a sport that I never understood. And I think that's all I got to say about that. I probably shouldn't have said what's the point, because there is a point. A lot of people love it. And just because I don't doesn't mean others shouldn't. So let's pull up that trailer.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting sport. I mean, they're not going in there just like balls to the wall, going for blood. I mean, there's strategy behind it, and I think if you know boxing, if you really really know boxing and like the scoring system and like how everything kind of works, there's a lot of strategy that goes behind it. But
Yeah.
what we're looking at right now is just I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This game is really focusing on realism, and I see it right now. Like I really see the realism here, and the just the level of like stuff that they're kind of showing. Like they're showing you footwork, like they're showing you a bunch of different punches, like they're showing you in different settings. They're showing a ridiculous roster of characters. I'm gonna be honest here, they're showing a lot of Tyson Fury, which they're probably gonna stop after his loss to Juszczyk. But yeah, I'm really excited for the game because I think the game is exactly what people want. And the reason for that, a lot like Adam talked about, this game has been in early access since when did you say it was?
January 2023.
Yeah, January 2023. The reason why people are so excited for this to come to console is just because we have not got a boxing game in so long. And the one boxing game that everybody kind of loved and kind of latched onto was Fight Night. And EA Okay, Fight Night was made by EA, and for whatever reason, EA just stopped making Fight Night in 2011 with Fight Night Champions. There's speculation that it has to do with sales, low sales numbers, but they never really came out and said like there's low sales numbers, we're not making Fight Night anymore. They kind of just stopped making it and just never told anybody what was happening. So it's like for the last 13 years, boxing fans of the Fight Night series have just been kind of like, dude, where is like a boxing game? Like, where is the boxing game that I love? And Undisputed is their game. They're finally getting it, and they're super excited about it, and I think rightfully so.
I definitely agree. Boxing fans should be excited about this game, and I think they should be excited about this game from where the game's already come from. Like the game, it started out as a decent game, but from everything I've read and all the reviews I've watched and everything I've learned about this game is they're listening to the community. They're making changes to make it a really good game, if that makes sense. Like from the animations, they say there's going to be like 60 different unique punches that you can throw. You already mentioned the footwork. It's going to be realistic footwork. And then in terms of like animations, they've changed how the head moves now. So when you get punched, it's not just it feels more impactful from what the game used to be. So that's one thing I think is really good about this game is there's so much realism in the game. Now, on the flip side, there's some things that people wish that the game has or is going to have. And so there's going to be a career mode, but they say like the career mode doesn't feel that immersive, or it really feels like there's not much to it, if that makes sense. And a lot of people want some change to that.
I heard the same exact thing, and I do hope that they make some adjustments to the career mode to give it a little bit more of like a, like you said, substance, a little bit more story, because you're playing a story mission, you know what I mean? Like you're playing the story aspect of the game. So I do hope that they improve on that. But the great part about that is that, like you said, they're listening to the feedback and they have time. You know what I mean? At this stage in the game, right? This drops October 11th this year. So they've got 5 months to really kind of make this work. Realistically, they've got like 4 months to kind of make this work, right? So in 4 months' time, can you develop a much more in-depth story to your career mode? Yes. In 4 months' time, can you rework the entire dynamics of the gameplay system to improve elements that are that are bad gameplay wise? Now that's a tall order. So I think they did it right. I think they focused on the gameplay, making very realistic gameplay, making it as good as it can possibly be, and then leaving some cleanup time before the console release at the end here for some, I don't want to call the career mode smaller stuff, but it is smaller stuff that's much more manageable. I think they did it right.
The career mode's still going to be cool. Like, I think the way it works is, or from what I've read is so you get to either create a character, like you get to create your own boxer, or you get to play as one of the 70 plus already established fighters, and you kind of grow through the ranks as you fight different or not enemies, different opponents. And I think that's really cool. And like the customization of the character, I think there's some limitations on what they have in it right now, but I'm sure they're planning on adding more. But essentially, you get to pick out of the 10 different weight divisions. You have different fight style animations, and yeah, and it's pretty cool. And you get to use that career player to play like in local play and things like that, which is cool.
Yeah, and what I'm really hoping that they kind of do is like we talked about this with the show. Remember we talked about the moments with like Jeter and stuff like that, where you can kind of go through and like replay these like very pivotal moments in these people's career. Like, wouldn't it be awesome if you could like jump back in and fight? Like, you could fight as like Tyson in like the Holyfield fights and stuff like that. Like, I think that aspect of it would be really cool. So I know it's not an option right now on the PC version, but it would be really just kind of like that would just be like a wow factor if they could figure out something like that before the console release.
I think with that, it's going to depend on how this game does. I don't think they're going to be able to just drop things like that because I think that's going to take a lot of essentially like extra work in terms of like the filming, the animations of like those different scenes and things like that. But if the game does well, I could foresee them adding things like that. Like you said, those MLB The Show moments and things like that.
I kind of use the show as an example. I don't think they'd have the ability to go quite as in depth with the show with like the actual like using the actual recordings and stuff like that. Like that's going to be pretty in depth, but maybe just like doing the fights would be kind of sweet.
Okay, I understand. Kind of like they do with they did it in 2K with them or like NBA where like, oh, live Jordan's moments. It's really doesn't show much. It just kind of jumps you into Jordan's moments kind of situation. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And kind of with, like I said, with the career mode is you're fighting for money and fame. You start as an amateur, you raise your ranks to the world stage. One thing that I thought was really cool though, is you get to assemble your own coach team, like your own team, which includes your coach, your cut man, and your manager. And like the choices you make with that team will decide your various skills and like that kind of thing. Like your abilities in terms of like who you pick, each has their own limitations, and you can hire and fire and negotiate your contracts. And I think that's really cool. Yeah, and I think the game is going to be good. Or I think the game is good.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up all that stuff because, you know, I've heard in the comments that like the career mode isn't very in depth, but I don't know, dude. To me, like, I don't think we're that far off. You know what I mean? Like, if like being able to fire or like hire your own team and like who you hire affects all these decisions and like the character creation and stuff like that. Like, I don't feel like we're that far off. I feel like there is a lot of immersion there that maybe it's just not enough for some people, but I think, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, we're still talking about a sports title. You know what I mean? And I think they went pretty immersive if they're going to that level of decision making.
Right. And I think it's also really cool. You get to pick like including that, like you'll get to pick and choose your fights that you pick, and you can pick the different elements of your fight, like how much time you get to train to like get yourself ready for the fight. And I think that's really cool how much money you're going to make, like negotiate that way. And I think that's really cool. And then depending on your negotiations, it will affect like your weight. So if you're overweight or your energy level when you go into the fight and how sharp you are going to be in the fight. And I think that's really cool. So they're adding elements that you don't really see in like too many games, like when you're picking like MLB The Show or 2K. And I think that's pretty cool.
The one thing that we kind of went over that is really kind of a big deal, as you talked about, there's a roster of 70 plus different fighters in this game. We're talking about the most licenses that have ever been in a combat game. And it's kind of mind blowing to think that all of these characters are going to be in the game. I mean, they're going all the way back to the greats. I mean, you can fight as Ali, you can fight as Marciano, you can fight as Tyson, like you Roy Jones Jr. Like all these just elite like talents of the era are going to be at your disposal, and I think that's very, very interesting.
Cool, and they're going to add more too with like DLCs and updates and things like that. So I wonder like. Obviously, these are all not like real people at this point. You think they'll ever add like fictional boxers like Apollo Creed and not Mike Tyson, Rocky Balboa. Like, I feel like they could do stuff like that with this game.
I feel like they could do stuff like that, but I just honestly, I'm not against it. I think it would be kind of cool, but I think just from the developer standpoint of how realistic they want to make this experience, throwing a fictional character in the ring, just as cool and as fun as it might be, just kind of steers away from the vibe that they were going for. So I honestly just don't see this happening. But I mean, who doesn't want to fight as Rocky?
Exactly. I mean, you can always make yourself a Rocky. So
You could always make Rocky. Yeah, you could
Yeah,
just
that's
make
true.
Rocky as your character.
that's pretty true. Other than that, I think the game and the fact that this isn't a $70 game, it's a $60 game. Yeah, it's still pretty close, but it's just nice to see that they're putting out a good solid game, not at a full $70.
Yeah, I think the price point's going to be great. They've obviously touched on on the realism of the game. They want to make a great boxing game. Boxing fans, I mean, like I'm so excited for this game. I loved Fight Night. I really loved Fight Night, and we're finally getting a boxing game that's going to take the place of Fight Night. And unfortunately, like I hate that it's taking the place of Fight Night. I wish Fight Night kept going, but for whatever reason, EA was like no on Fight Night. So it kind of is what it is at this point. Like there's no choice but to just jump ship and just be like, all right, Fight Night's dead. Like time to move on to greener. Yeah, it's time to move on to greener pasture. So I'm excited that boxing fans are getting this game. And I mean, it's filled a void. The void has been crazy. 14 years it's been basically since Fight Night. And I know people are gonna say like we got UFC. UFC is great. It really is. I love UFC, and I think the games are great, but it's not boxing. It's not boxing. And I think the UFC games are good. I think that they did the best that they could. But if you really look at UFC, I feel like there's just like too much going on in UFC to be able to put that experience into a game. You know what I mean?
It's so realistic, it makes it hard to play a game like that. You know what I mean? Like there's too many elements to really try to mash into one to make it feel authentic but also playable.
And I think the UFC, like I said, the UFC games are great, but I think what they did is it's kind of like a mashup of like a boxing game and a wrestling game where it's like you have so many things that you need to think about. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'm standing, so now now I'm in punch kick mode, and it's like, oh, okay, now I'm in hold mode. Now I'm grappling on the ground. Like, it's just there's just so many things to go on where it's like boxing. It just is, man. You're just standing up. This is how you punch. This is how you punch. This is your footwork. This is duck. This is weave. Like, it's just a different feel. So I know boxing fans are super excited about this, and I am right there with you. Undisputed is dropping October 11th, 2024, and it's going to be sweet.
Let us know, boxing fans, if you're excited about this, because Dave is, and who knows, maybe I'll give it a shot because I feel like I should give it a shot. But I'm not a boxing fan, but that doesn't mean it's not a good sport. I probably shouldn't have crapped on it the way I did, but boxing is okay.
We have gone from Adam hating boxing to boxing is okay. Guys, we are taking this as a win.
Boxing is good fighters. Boxing is full of good fighters, which is why I think it's time to do a draft of the best fighters.
A draft of the best fighting characters of all time. Spoiler alert, we did not pick boxers. This is just fighting games.
Oh, I just said fighters in general.
What do you mean?
I did just fictional fighters.
Yeah, I did fighters too.
Okay. It's more than just video games for me.
Oh, you did more. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's flip the coin and see. Y'all are really seeing how the sausage gets made today. Okay, let's flip the coin.
Oops.
I win. I'm taking my first pick.
Okay.
You
This is a draft of the best fighters. No, this is the best. This is a draft of the best fictional fighters ever.
Spoiler alert, mine will all be from video games. All right, number one. Number one on my list, we are going to go with Raiden.
Ooh, okay.
I love me some Raiden, dude. He's OP.
He is OP.
The
Okay.
little fires of the day.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. Mine is from an IP from video games and anime. So my first pick is Goku.
I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
still been watching it, still been obsessed. So,
477 episodes later.
yep, exactly.
Yep. About as long as I've been drinking this coffee.
Coffee. Yeah.
All right, next up on the list. Well, this is kind of silly now.
The reason why I didn't do just video games is because like 95% of them were just going to come from Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. So I was like, okay, I got to switch it up.
Yeah, totally. Didn't just pick all the characters from that game.
Yeah.
All right, next up on my list, we are gonna go with a little. You probably saw this one coming, but Eddie Gordo, little Eddie Gordo from Tekken. You know, I
Yeah.
love me the capoeira.
I know you do. I know
Yeah,
you
that's such a sick fighting style.
do. Okay. Okay.
Could you imagine trying to fight somebody who's just breakdancing?
That's true. That'd be very
Where
frustrating.
would you even start, dude?
breakdance with them.
You're kind of like getting in there, getting ready to get your shot, and then all of a sudden it's like a bicycle kick to the face. The guy's just doing a coffee grinder and hits you
Yeah.
right in the shins.
Ouch. Ouch. Can you breakdance? Are you a good breakdancer?
No, I'm a horrific breakdancer.
Oh, okay.
Funny
All right.
story. I bought a breakdance. Okay, so this is gonna show my age for real. I brought a breakdancing VHS tape when I was a kid and tried to learn how to do it. And I could do the coffee grinder, which is the one where you put your hands on the ground and then you got the one leg and you sweep your other leg around and like keep jumping. And like when I learned how to do that, I just thought I was the man.
That's so cool.
But I never went any further than that.
That's all right. That's all right. My dad could kind of, sort of. He can do like the twirly with his legs in the air.
What?
Yeah, my dad can still do that. And he's like 60.
Seriously?
Yeah.
We need to see this, guys.
Okay.
You guys, leave a comment down below. If we get X number of comments, Adam's dad is going to break dance for us.
Yeah. I have to go get him. We'll FaceTime him in. But okay. Second pick.
Yeah, second pick.
Second pick is Adam from Real Steel. There's
That's a
something
good-
cool about a boxing robot. It's like a rock'em sock'em robot.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
No, that's a great pick.
Mhm.
All right, next up on my list, we are going to go with a little Spinal from Killer Instinct.
Ooh.
I just thought it was cool when I was a kid to play like a fighting game as like a skeleton pirate.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty
it
cool.
just get like, how do you make pirates better? Make them a skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. All right. My third pick is Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat. You took somebody from Mortal Kombat, so I thought I had to as well. He's
Let's
so
go.
cool. His
Let's
bicycle
go.
kick. You know what I'm talking
That-
about? Where he's like, oh, the noise he makes as he does it is so fun.
No, that's a solid pick. I
Yeah.
love that pick.
Yeah.
All right, next up on the list, we are going to go with, I'm going to show my age again, a little Terry Bogard, Fatal Fury.
Okay.
Is there
okay.
anything just more badass than like 80s Terry Bogard? Just Fatal Fury, SNES era Fatal Fury, just that mullet with that jumpsuit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Pretty cool because I don't know what it is.
I'm so old.
All right, moving on to my fourth pick. I'm gonna go movie now, and I'm probably gonna get slack for this one because it's a remake and it probably isn't as good as the original. But I'm going Dalton from Roadhouse, like the new Roadhouse with what's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal.
And Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but Conor McGregor, he's not a good actor.
Hot takes all
Do you
around.
do you think he's a good actor?
I think he's a good enough actor.
Oh no, for what? Okay, as a celebrity actor, I think he did fine. But
Yeah.
I don't. He's kind of got a funny voice. Did he change his voice for that movie, or is that how he actually sounds?
For most of the movie, he sounds like how he normally sounds.
I felt like he was trying to do like an American accent, but his like Scottish accent Irish accent.
Irish,
Yeah.
Irish.
I feel like he was trying to do American, but his Irish kept coming out.
I feel like he toned it down a little bit, but that's essentially how he talks.
Wow, I've never heard him talk. But yeah, I liked the movie was cool, and he like Dalton or Jake Gyllenhaal was so cool. Like he was just a boss.
No love for the Sways? The original?
I didn't see it. I didn't see the original.
You've
So
never
I-
seen the original Roadhouse?
Yeah, and that's why I was like, oh, when I searched it up, I was like, oh, Roadhouse. That's a remake. But so now that I'm in my summer of movies, I'm gonna go back and watch the original.
How many Patrick Swayze movies have you watched?
0.
Your next 3 movies are in this order. Are you ready?
Okay.
Roadhouse,
Yep.
Ghost.
Okay.
Oh no, there's 4. Point Break
Mhm.
and Dirty Dancing.
Okay. I haven't seen any of those.
You've never seen any of those?
Okay, but I already have my next 4.
Oh no.
Yeah. Maybe.
The Sways needs to move up on the list.
All right, Swayze will move up on the list. But yeah, Dalton from Roadhouse. Sorry, it's not the original Roadhouse, but I like this new one. So.
Great pick. Next up on the list. This is my last pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, what are we gonna do
Final
here?
pick?
All right, I gotta do it. I gotta take my boy. Next up on the list, we are going to go with Link from Smash Bros. You let me get Link in Smash Bros. Is over. You hate
Okay.
that pick. Why you hate that pick?
I mean, like, yes, he's in a fighting game, but like his original IP isn't fighting. You know what I mean?
This is 100% because I gave you a hard time about Swayze, right?
No, it's fine. You can have Link. I just think it's kind of a lame pick. It's kind of a cop out.
Okay. All right. Fine. We'll switch it up. You know who else was on my list though?
Who's that?
Was Solomon Grundy was on my list from Injustice. That's a cop out. That's a cop out too.
I think so. Yeah.
This is so sad. All right, next up. Well, I've already taken a Mortal Kombat too.
But Mortal Kombat has been like, oh, okay, you've already taken one from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? Screw it. I'm going Guile. We're just going. We're going safe. I'm going. Give me some Guile Street Fighter.
I like it.
Doing it.
Safe bet.
My second pick for Mortal Kombat was Smoke, but I didn't want to have two Mortal Kombats.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. I'm kind of cheat here, or I know I just said how much I don't like boxing, but I'm gonna pick a boxer in a boxer movie. Or maybe I'll do MMA.
He's gonna get Apollo Creed.
I was gonna do Adonis Creed, but that's fine.
Ooh.
No, I'm gonna switch it. My final pick is Tommy Conlon from The Warrior. A little Tom Hardy action.
Let's go.
It's an underrated movie. I don't think it's a well-known movie.
I freaking love Tom Hardy, dude.
Yeah.
He gets such a hard time because did this the Bane voice, which I know, which was kind of funny, but like I don't know, dude. He's such a good actor.
Yeah, he is.
He really is.
And I think that kind of movie is like his genre movie. Like
Dude,
I think he nails that kind of movie.
In Peaky Blinders, he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The character that he was supposed to play in Peaky Blinders was just this really shady. You never understood whether he was like being good, being bad, kind of sarcastic, but just like, and he just nailed it, dude. He was a character you were supposed to hate and supposed to love at the same time. And I felt those emotions about him at the exact moments I was supposed to. I was like, I hate his character's name in the show is Alfie.
Mm-hmm.
And there was times where you're like, oh, dude, Alfie's the man, dude. Like he's sick. He's so funny.
Yeah.
He's and then there's times where you're like, I hate Alfie. And it's all because of his performance. He just knocks it out of the park.
I think one movie, and I actually enjoy the movies, but I don't think he plays a great Venom though.
I mean, I can see
it's not bad. It's not bad, but I just think there probably could have been a better actor for Venom.
I think the hard part about Venom is like, and this is true for a lot of these roles, you're really only playing half the character because the rest is CGI. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have your like, you put your feel on it kind of when you can, but like half the character is kind of left up to the design of someone else.
Yeah,
you know
that's very true.
I think it's kind of hard to give him a fair shake on that one, but I could see it.
Yeah, I guess. But other than that, that's my final pick.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments who are your best fighters. Some honorable mentions here: Adonis Creed, Rocky Balboa, like all those kind of boxers. Billy Hope from Southpaw. I thought that was a really good movie.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, but as a boxing fan, I'm saying or non-boxing fan, I love boxing movies. So maybe I like boxing more than I know, and I just haven't really got into it.
Adam hates boxing, and his list is gonna be Christian Bale from The Fighter, Apollo Creed.
Yeah. So I gotta watch more boxing, I guess. Sorry I crapped on it for a little bit, but let's move on to our last game. Or unless you have honorable mentions.
No, yeah, a couple of honorable mentions. We got Kasumi Dead or Alive and Akira Virtual Fighter.
Ooh, okay. I like it. Let us know in the comments who's on your list. Moving on to our last game of the night as a revisit of Space Marine 2. We did this episode with Blue. Remember that?
That was episode 8.
Yeah, episode 8. There has been very little on this game until now. And so let's pull up the trailer. The trailer is just a highlight of the PvE. There's a PvP trailer as well, but I wanted to show this PvE one because I'm kind of leaning more towards the PvE situation. So if you're just...
Are you?
Yeah, I'm just kind of getting over the multiplayer competitive stuff. So
Wow.
yeah,
This
but
is
if
a
you're just
big day, guys.
yeah, if you're just listening, it's just showing off a few of the Space Marines saying that we need to get a group of 3 together to fight for the greater good, and essentially it's just showing, yeah, Space Marine 2.
Yeah. This game doesn't really have like a very in-depth story and it doesn't need to. I think that's perfectly fine. But I was like, you guys know that this isn't like the biggest, I'm not the biggest fan of this genre, but if you go back to episode 8, I was excited about this one and I'm still excited about it now. If you guys are just listening, what we're looking at, this gunplay is just like so over the top and
Yeah.
so ridiculous and so exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pure chaos, blood everywhere, and explosions, and tons of hordes of enemies. And I think it's so cool. Like you said, just over the top. And that's all this game needs to be.
Yeah, this is like if you were just to take your classic FPS and just like pop it on steroids. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And then what they added compared to the first one is a lot of customization. So the first one, it was more just like a story driven. You just go through the story and play. It had no multiplayer, but now this one, it's adding your own loadouts, different classes, customization, and I just think that's really cool.
Why exactly? Let's get back to the topic at hand. Why exactly are you leaning towards the PvE now?
Just because I get so frustrated with the competitive side of things. Way too often I am yelling at the computer, and that's partially why I quit playing X Defiant already. Like, the first day I was getting like 30, 40 kills, and then after that, like, I'd still get up there. I'd be at like top of the leaderboards, but like, it just wasn't fun when I wasn't doing well, which in a game like this I can always do well.
What do they call them? What are the like real good people? The
Oh,
sweats.
sweats?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sweats. They call them the sweats.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I'm a little bit of a sweat, but I like to be able to play a game and have a conversation when I'm playing the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was trying to do that while playing X Defiant, but I wasn't having fun because I was dying 50,000 times, still getting my kills, but like, ugh.
I'm excited for this. I'm excited. Adam has gone to the single player realm.
No, not single player, co-op without going against other people.
This is the first step. So first you get rid of the multiplayer, then you get rid of the co-op, and then you join me on the dark side in my deep, dark dungeon playing solo games, solo story missions by yourself.
No, I don't know, but I'm excited about this game, and I think what we can talk about most of this is how much has changed from the first one and how much replayability this game has compared to the first one, because I really enjoyed the first one, but at the end of the day, like, I felt like I got through the story, and I was like, okay, now what? And like, there's, I don't know there's another mode called Horde mode. I think it's like a top-down horde shooter, which is fine, but to me, like, that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in things like the third person, like FPS, like that kind of stuff, and like growing my character in that sense. And I think that adding friends to play with, adding the PvP modes, adding the operation modes, I think that's going to make this game expand into such more replay value than just going through the story and calling it good.
I think it's a very smart move. I really do, because as much as I'm against it, and it makes sense of why I'm not the hugest fan of these games, gamers that are into shooters really are also kind of hand in hand with co-ops and multiplayers. They just, in a sense, just really like, they really enjoy playing with groups of people. And I think that's part of the reason why I don't latch onto them quite as much as other people do. But I think this is a very safe move. I think it's a very smart move, and it's one that, at this point, almost probably needed to be mandatory. Like, I feel like they probably needed to do this, or they just kind of get left in the dust.
I just think, and Total War is such, or Warhammer in general is such a like niche group, I think. And like, there's tons of fans of this group, but I think to bring people in that maybe don't follow so much of the lore, play these other games, but with this one, and Warhammer in general, I think this can bring in a group of people that don't normally play those typical games because of what they're adding in terms of the PvE, the PvP, and the 6 different classes. And I think that's just, like you said, it's a great move to move the spectrum of getting more people into the game, or the just Warhammer in general.
Getting more people into the franchise, and one of the things that I kind of always kind of reference Warhammer with is like, if you're a fan of Warhammer, you were probably a fan of like, you were probably like Gears over Halo. You know what I mean? You were probably that dude. You know what I mean? Because you just like that over the top kind of ridiculous kind of mash them like just down and dirty, mash it up kind of shooter. And I think a lot of Gears players have kind of transformed themselves into, more Warhammer fans, just because we just haven't had anything from Gears in a while. But I do think that, like you said, this opens up the possibility, because like, it's like, what's the easiest way to get somebody what's the easiest way to get your friend into a game that they're not really interested in?
Make it a multiplayer game.
Get them to play it with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a fan of X-Defiant at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would have never played that game, but I played that game just because, like, I was hanging out with you, and you know what? I loaded in, and I don't have great things to say about it, but I don't have bad things to say about it either. And like, if you want to play again, I'm going to load it up again, and we'll jam, and I'm going to suck, and it's going to be fine. You know what I mean? But, like, that's the easiest way to get a new audience is to have people kind of recruit their friends. It's like, yo, you want to play this game with me? Like, yeah, I think you might like it. And you play together, and you learn to like it. And I think, like I said, I think it was mandatory. I think they needed to do it.
Don't get us wrong, the first one was very successful. Everybody that plays the game loved the game, but from what I've kind of read, and the kind of consensus is, there wasn't enough. Like, they wanted more, and I think this game is giving so much more. Like you said, with the friends, the operation missions, and the fact that they're like, it's not just a story. Like, you'll have, like I said, there's 6 different classes. You can level each of those 6 classes up, and each class has 25 different skills per class. And like, that's just so much time you can put into this game, and unlocking the customization to really customize how you want them to look. You'll be able to change your loadout and level up the guns, unlock new skins, and I just think that's really cool. They're adding so much to make it a game where it's not just a play the story and then you're done. And then the fact that they're adding PvP, and I'm glad you brought up Gears. Is like, when I was watching the PvP trailer, I was like, oh, this is like Gears of War. This is like a Gears of War game, and the different game modes in that, it's called Annihilation. So I wonder if that's gonna be like a kind of how Gears. I don't know the name of the game mode, but it's like you start with your 6 players, and you just kill everybody, and then the round's over. Essentially,
it's a one death. Once you're out, you're out.
Seize ground. I'm wondering if it's gonna be like a capture the flag, or no. Yeah, I don't know. Or I don't know what seize ground's gonna be, but I think, and then the last one's capture and control. I think that's gonna be like a domination kind of situation. And then they'll have more, but at launch, those are gonna be the game modes that they have. And then, which is gonna be, the maps for the PvP is gonna be different than the PvE modes and the like main narrative. So they're just adding a bunch to make this game more robust and more things to do and more fun.
And I think you said it perfectly. The first game was a success, and what they did, I think they did it beautifully well. They didn't change anything about the first game into the second game. They didn't change the things that people loved about the game. They kept the core of the game that people loved the way that it was. They've just expanded on it. So now, if you were a fan of the first game, you're most likely going to be at the second game, and you're just going to get more of it.
Again, I think that's what everybody was longing for in the first one. It's like, we just want more. We just want to keep horde killing all these aliens and these bad people, these bosses. The bosses look really good. Like, I felt like in the first one, like, yeah, there was some bosses, but like nothing like the bosses that I saw in like this trailer. And I thought that's really cool. So
I think they did a great job. I'm excited for the updates. I was excited about this all the way back in episode 8. You guys know I'm not a fan of the shooter titles. This is not something that I usually latch on to. This one, on the other hand, though, I was a fan of Gears. You know, like I wasn't a fan of, I'll be honest, I wasn't a fan of Call of Duty really outside of the campaign. I wasn't really a fan of Halo. I was a fan of Gears because I liked that grindiness of it. I liked I like the dirtiness and the grittiness of the game. I was a Gears fan, and Warhammer is that for 2024.
I totally agree. Some other things to note is, so the game's going to have a battle pass, but the cool thing about this battle pass and like season pass in general is it's all for cosmetics. So if you're somebody that loves to collect cosmetics, then you'll be able to get the season pass and you'll get all those. Where I think they did something that's cool, that not so many people are doing this, but all missions, enemies, weapons are all free updates. So anything they add gun wise or enemies or missions or operations, all free. And yeah, I mean, there are a couple games that do that, but nothing that you like really hear about. But I think this is really cool that they're doing that. And because not a lot of games do that this way.
Cosmetics I'm fine with. If you wanna charge me a couple bucks for like, this skin or something like that, like fine. Because you don't need it. But you know what I mean? When you start talking about like this gun is pretty sick, but it's $4, it's like, well, that sucks, dude. Like that sucks. Because whoever buys that is just gonna have a leg up, and it's like, whatever, here's your $4, and you just feel just slighted out of it, and like
Becomes a pay to win. And I think that's where you see a lot of these like multiplayer games becoming that way. And like X Defiance kind of they say it's not pay to win, but like to level up to get that DedSec faction, it takes time. Or I can spend $20 for it. I don't want to do that. But so I'm glad they're not doing that. I'm super excited about this one. I think it looks great. It's going to add so much more to what the first one already added with the customization, the multiplayer. I think it's going to be a really good game and do just as well, if not better than the first one because of all that.
be on the lookout. It looks amazing. I am more than happy to uninstall X Defiant and download Space Marine 2 when the time has come.
September 9th of 2024 coming up. Not quite around the corner, but it's on its way.
It'll be here quicker than you think.
Right when work starts for me again, but we can talk about that another day.
We digress.
Yeah. Let's move on to this game. Has a lot of cool soldiers and a lot of like a big army. This is kind of a hard draft, Dave, but it's the draft of soldiers, army men, or just military people in general. So flip that coin.
Let's flip that coin. Kind of want my first pick.
Yeah, you're gonna need it.
Let's go. Let's go.
This is a draft of the best fictional military characters ever. Draft of the best fictional soldiers ever.
No, this was great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Did you also do movies?
I did movies. I did fiction.
I just did games.
Or maybe no, mine's all games.
Really?
Minus one, yeah. But I don't have to pick them. Yeah.
Okay.
All games.
All right. Awesome. Very nice. Okay. First up on my list, we just talked about it. I said I was a huge Gears fan. I am a huge Gears fan. When it comes to shooters, Gears is a top tier, and I am, of course, going to take Marcus Phoenix.
Ooh, good pick.
Yeah, I got to do it.
Great pick, actually. Dang it, I didn't see that one. All right. Well, as I grew up in the Call of Duty realm, and that's kind of what my life was in terms of video games for the first like 15 years of my video game life, and that is Captain Price from Call of Duty as my first pick.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah. My first pick is Captain Price.
I can see it on the list. Okay, this is where the list starts to decline because my boomerness is going to show up. But with number 2 on my pick, we are going to go with Samus from Metroid.
Ooh, okay.
Got to do it. It's classic.
You mean
OG?
What did Bailey call him? Red.
What did she call it?
Yeah.
Red Booster.
Red something. Red. Oh man, I'm blanking. Well, I'll think about it as we go. Yeah, but Red something.
Red Booster.
Yeah,
number 2 on my list.
Yeah, that's so funny. So if you don't know, Bailey made my wife Bailey and I, we made a non-gamer wife guesses video game characters, and Samus was on it, and she said Red something.
By far the best things that we've ever done, and I'm not even a part of it.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, my next pick, right? Second pick.
Yep. Number 2.
My second pick. We actually talked about this earlier a little bit when you gave me Splinter Cell. So my second pick is Sam Fisher.
It's a great pick.
Great pick, yeah.
Deserves to be on the list. Okay. All right. This one's for Storm, but also for me too, because I'm a boomer head. But with number 3 on the list, we're gonna go with a little bit of Duke Nukem.
Oh, Duke Nukem, huh?
Duke Nukem, baby.
That's funny. I like it.
Yeah. A little bit of attitude. We had to bring a little bit of attitude to the list.
Okay. My next pick, or my third pick, right?
Third pick, yep.
Yeah. My third pick is Duke from G.I. Joe.
That's a great pick too.
Yeah. Duke Nukem and then Duke from G.I. Joe.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Dang it. That's such a good pick. Why is that not on my list? Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
All right, we need to recover. Okay. Next up on the list. I feel like we have to do this. I feel like I don't have any options. Number 4 on my list is Solid Snake. Little Metal Gear.
Ooh, see, I never played Metal Gear, but he's such an iconic character.
So iconic. I feel like we can't have this list without him.
That's a good one.
Solid Snake.
Solid Snake. Okay, my 4th pick, going back to Call of Duty, because that's literally I could pick 10 Call of Duty soldiers. My 4th pick is Soap McTavish from Call of Duty.
Soap McTavish.
McTavish. Yeah.
His name is Soap?
His code name was Soap.
What's his real name?
I don't remember. I latched onto Soap.
Did they call him Soap because he was the cleaner?
I don't think so. I just think that's
if that's the reason why, it's a pretty sweet nickname.
maybe. He's John. No, so
his name's John Soap McTavish.
Yeah.
I'm changing my name.
But I wonder if they did that because like John Price was like Captain Price.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, we need I don't know.
Soap McTavish, number 4.
Yep.
Sounds like a fake name. That's a good pick. I like it. I'm glad it's on the list. Okay. Oh God. Are you gonna do it?
I don't think I am because I still got Call of Duty people lined up.
Wow, you're not gonna do it?
I don't know who we're missing.
You know who we're missing. We're gonna get in such crap if we don't do this.
Pick it. I don't know who you're talking about.
I don't want to pick it. I don't like it.
Pick it. Or honorable mention it, because I don't know what you're talking about.
But the honorable mentions don't show up in the shorts.
I know. So who is it?
God dang it. I hate that. I hate that I do.
Or whisper it. Whisper it to me.
Listen, guys, I'm making my 5th pick 100% for you. I do not like this pick, but it needs to be on this list. And number 5 is going to be Master Chief.
Oh,
Halo.
he's lame.
What?
Dude, Master Chief's lame. Don't even put him on your list.
We are going to get in so much trouble if we don't put Master Chief on the list.
Yeah, a list of crappy soldiers.
Oh, we're definitely leaving it in now. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. Number 5. My number 5 pick is Master Chief, and I did that for y'all.
Oh, Dave. All right, my final pick, going back to Call of Duty, because that's all I know, and that is going to be Alex Mason from Black Ops.
That's a great pick.
You have no idea who that is, do you?
Nope.
Yep. That's funny. I was a Call of Duty head, not a Halo dude. Honorable mentions. Let's hear them, Dave.
I mean, I'm salty that I put Master Chief on my list, but I felt like we had to do it. But here's my list, right? So here's my honorable mentions, and I feel like people are not going to know who these people are because I'm a boomer and I'm old, but we got to go with Adam Jensen from Deus Ex. We got to go with Bill Reiser from Contra, and we got to go with Doom Guy from Doom.
Okay, Doom Guy probably would have been a better pick than Master Chief.
Fucking Master Chief, man.
All right, honorable mentions for me is, let's go Call of Duty Ghost, Gaz, and Frank Woods. Literally all Call of Duty. Is
all Call of Duties. Here's my bugaboo here. Captain America.
Yeah.
That was kind of iffy, right?
Yeah, I guess I could have put
He's
him
a
on there.
Soldier, right?
You could have said, essentially the Black Panther then too.
Yeah,
He's like the leader soldier of Wakanda.
I thought we were like trekking in murky water, starting to get into Captain America.
I was trying to stay away from superheroes. Actually, I was trying to stay away from basically all superheroes tonight.
Yeah, we didn't talk about any superheroes.
We had Ra's al Ghul and Bullseye in early list.
I mean, 2 is pretty good.
Yeah, we talk about superheroes all the time because we're nerds.
So nerdy.
But overall, let us know in the comments who is the best soldiers, fictional wise. Let us know in the comments below. Yes, Master Chief sucks. I will stand by that. Sorry, all you Halo fans, but I am not a Halo fan. But great episode, Dave.
This was a great episode. I feel like maybe we should just practice the episode the week before.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go every other and just 1 week is practice and
Yeah,
one week is final.
Yeah. But other than that, a lot of things coming up. Really excited about a lot of things. So
love you guys very, very much. Real quick, if you guys have not hit the like and subscribe, and you could possibly do that, that would mean a lot to us. We are coming up on our next milestone, which is absolutely crazy. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Love you guys very, very much. Adam, what you got for them?
if you're not following us on all social media, please make sure to do so. Let's Talk Nerdy Podcast and join the Discord. We're trying to get some people in there, get some conversations flowing so you can answer the question, John Wick versus James Bond. Who wins that fight? Come to the Discord. Let us know. And yeah.
Team John Wick. Love you guys very, very much. And we will see y'all on the next one.
Peace out, nerds.
We're in so much trouble for saying Master Chief sucks.
I didn't say it. You said it.
You backed me up.
No, you said it.
You can't leave now.
Master Chief sucks. Dave said it, not me.
We're in this together.